Welcome to the Horsemanship Remark Show. Show number 2 on YouTube. Show number like 234 in general. I was telling Kip, I'm like, we've been doing this 4 years. He's like, not if you've done 200 and something shows. It's longer than that. So, okay. So I see 3 of you guys are here. Is there a way to do the, oh, please tell me that oh my God, my computer is send an invite list. Let's send this to Michael. He already has it, but Michael Sparling. Wow, that kind of sucks. Here, you guys, hang on just a second. Let me go turn off the audio in my oh, here we go. Hold on, Michael can tell you guys. Oh, sorry. Hang on just 1 second.
Hanging on. What are we hanging on for? Sounded funny.
It's playing the freaking live. Wow, which is bizarro.
Over your stereo or what?
Yeah, over my computer speaker. Oh my gosh, I'm so pro. I'm so
You
pro
are pro.
after 4 years. Let's see. We have Julie, good morning. Jen, good morning. Corey, good morning.
Here's my pro. I get to adjust the height of this thing. We got to memorize the height.
We should mark it on our little deal. I was plotting getting signage. All right. Well,
Yeah, I haven't put the kids on that project yet.
Yeah, I figured they have a lot going on.
Well, school's starting soon. Fun.
So here they're going week.
What's that?
Kids are going to a 4-day week here.
Really?
Yeah.
Longer days, 4-day week?
Something like that.
That's
and
crazy.
other parts of the country, I guess, have done it with like great success. So I
That's
don't know.
interesting because I always feel like even after the weekend, my kids are like, oh crap, get back into it. Monday's like recovery day. Not just I'm tired, but recoup what you were learning last week. Like you have to remind yourself because it's been a couple days off, which kind of blows my mind, but I guess they're kids.
I know. I would imagine it's working just because why would it spread, across the country? So anyway.
I was thinking yesterday the wisdom in a year-round thing, but with longer and more frequent breaks outside of the summer break. That just makes more sense to me in terms of academic progress and I don't know. Last year I was very diligent about keeping them going with things they were weaker on through the school year, or through the summer, but this year I did not.
Well,
So.
they're learning other things. Jolynn, good morning. Do we know Jolynn? If you're new, welcome to the show. And all you guys that are here, don't know if you're subscribed to the channel, but please do that. Like and subscribe, share. Did you hear that? That
Button down there. It is really funny. We should do a blooper reel, not blooper reel, but just a reel mimicking all the different ways that people, like some people are real casual about it. If you want, if this is something, then share it with your friends. That's kind of been your approach so far, but then the ones with all the boing, subscribe.
Yeah. I always tend to go with what works for me, like what's for me versus like what generally works for everybody. But anyway, Katie, good morning.
I think that's our best tack, but it would be fun to just make a reel.
Fun to be silly. Yeah, definitely. Well, wasn't the heart and soul so fun the other day? Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. I loved it so much. So this is something you guys that is brand new that we did the first one at for the student. It'll be for the super students too, Horsemanship Insider. But oh my gosh, it's like my dream to get to introduce you guys across the country and like, oh, I love it so much. It was great, 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 great. So the next one is October 21st. You can go in there and watch last week's too. This is Jody. My sister calls me Jolynn. Oh, interesting. Good morning, Jody. All right. What's on
Wait,
your?
Jody and Indy Jody?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, I would guess
Could be
that.
another Jody. I don't know.
Yeah. And you guys, I figured out how to save the chat too, so that'll be there. So you guys say hello, back and forth. So off
That's Susan.
Susan. Oh, that's right. Right. Good morning, Susan. Oh my gosh. I was actually thinking how I would love to have Susan on the maybe someday on the Heart and Soul because everyone would love her so much. Some of us already
Gabriella.
love her. Yes. Yes. Jody and Indy. Okay. All right. Well, so what's on you guys' mind this morning? Uh Carlos? Is that you, Carlos? Good morning. Glad to
It might be. It's
I I think, oh my gosh, he's amazing too. Yeah, so fun. I
he's
know.
fun. He's got
He
interesting stuff going.
great, great, great. Yeah. So great to see you, if that's who it is. And yeah, we're glad to be on YouTube. Michael, here's what I like so much about it is not having the dread of the technology not working.
Well, you
Oh,
say that. Why didn't we do this a while ago? I
I
mean,
don't
what was
know.
the downside? I suppose because the social piece and the marketing and all that is easier on sharing things is easier on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, Facebook and Instagram.
Well, I think
But
Eva, good morning. I think I kind of wanted a smaller audience that I was comfortable with. But it's all right. We're good to go now. I'm fine. Oh
so
man.
you sucked me into this 4 years ago with a small audience, and here we go. Now we're like on a larger platform and blah blah.
I'm like, Michael, it'll just be a few of our buddies.
Yeah. No, it was more like, hey, we should try this thing. What time works for you? Let's just do it. And then at the end of the show, well, this will be up on Instagram. Or no, it wasn't at the end of the show. Like 3 hours later, you didn't say it on the show. Hey, can we like leave it up or like whatever? Sure, we already did it. And then it just never stopped going up.
Part of
Being
that,
saved. What's that?
well, part of that is because these guys are a part of it too, and we
Yeah.
enjoy that so much. So you guys are partially blame. Don't blame it all on me.
I was just sucked into it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
It was
also
not my choice.
have conversations this last week in 5-minute increments. So if we weren't doing this, you and I would not get the time to.
Yeah. That was stupid trying to discuss yesterday, especially when I was running all over the place and you had 3 million things you were throwing past me.
Oh,
I can't respond today, sorry. Not at the rate you'd like to you'd like to go through this.
oh no, no problem. Look at what I have from this morning.
Oh jeez.
This is just this morning. Some of it's 2 pages.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So are we happy with guideposts this morning? I could read these guys my little deal.
I don't know.
I am liking it so far.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And I tell everybody
GP1 is interesting.
I think it
But
works.
be your own bird. Yeah.
Be my
If you
own.
want it to be different, it's gonna have to be different, and people are gonna have to learn. But
Well,
yes, I like that better for sure.
okay, so you guys, just to catch you up. So I am organizing the horsemanship pathway that I use for you guys to use and for me to use to communicate with people. And so my brain sort of exploded on this after I got the framework out. We kind of mentioned this last week. So, but here's the thing, we were wondering because I'm organizing them into sections, right? Like this would be section one, riding and groundwork. This would be section two, just so that you have larger chunks, other than just one thing that you're learning, maybe the ABC or something like that. So you have larger chunks than that all fit together and then it fits on the next chunk. So, like I said, larger than one exercise or skill, but not everything all at once, like everything to
Not
make
and
it
not out of order.
certainly not out of order. And it's born out of necessity. It's born out of necessity because just like the framework, trying to say it over and over again. I was talking to Buck about this the other day, and I'm like, it's so cathartic to get it out because it was so um frustrating to try to say it all amongst trying to teach everybody, at the same time. So it was like so awesome to get it out. Do you think I should read this for these guys, this here?
Mm,
No.
No, no, not yet.
Okay.
Because I haven't commented on it. It's
You
not correct. It's not. It's not its final form.
well, uh,
Well,
um,
yeah, but I have comments.
okay. Well, it's just an overall
Yeah,
idea.
I mean, go ahead and read it. Whatever.
Okay, I mean, I don't have to. Cody, good morning. If you're new, are you new? You might be new, so it's good to have new people join us. I love that. Um, yeah, and so guess what Nicole said?
What did Nicole say?
She said
Perfect.
no, but I was like, well, this is a dumb idea or a good idea? And she was like, she was very, very positive about it and said she would come film it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Zach! Oh my God. I'm a huge Zach fan. Buddy, it's good to see you this morning. Um, where did Cody Coyote come from? Zach is part of the family of youngsters that Michael has around his place. I also wanted to say really quickly before I forget, um, you can learn more about Michael at michaelsparlinghorsemanship.com. It's also in the description, the link. So I do have Horsemanship Insider on there. I do have my blog. I do it. Let's like so stuff that people can get around. But I just wanted to let you guys know Michael is based out of Wisconsin. You should check him out for sure. Then you know a little bit more about why
I
I.
should. Should probably say more about myself there,
You probably should. Yeah.
because you won't learn that much more about me. Not. I'll just be honest.
Yeah. Well, at least there'll be a way for them to connect with you.
Yep.
Okay, so what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So chunking it into sections. This is what I do want to say to you this morning, because of course, what people have used all through the years. I mean, not just in recent 30 years, but way before that. It's very old to say levels. Levels. Okay, that's pretty normal. People understand it. It's not horrible. But as I'm sharing this idea with our close friends, Michael, I'm always like, Michael is having a meltdown about the word levels. Like, we have to at least really examine this. Because if it wasn't for you, Michael, I would just have put it as
Hmm.
levels. Um, but you know what I don't like? So think about this, you guys, really quickly, because you know that we have talked about um kind of going on a hike together, being on a path together. Of course, people have said journey, voyage, like, but I always think
Getting
about
in the weeds.
getting in the weeds. Yeah, being on some sort of pathway. And I'm from the Pacific Northwest in Western Oregon, and I live in the forest. So between the valley and the coast, I live like in the forest, and so I always think about, a hiking trail in our terrain here. So and then I think about people, myself included, but also everybody else, being disoriented without a map. A- And, this is what I have appreciated so much about Buck. Certainly, Pat and Linda before that. Certainly, the dressage system before that. It's like there is some way to like go from A to B, you know and people get so disoriented, like, where am I? If you think of climbing Everest, am I at base camp, am I at camp 3, like, uh, where am I generally know I'm going to the top of Everest. I can see it. I see Buck Brannaman on his bridle horse, or I see, whomever I'm really looking up to. Like, I see him, but where the hell am I on the way? You know, and so here's what so we're thinking. This is what I like so far is guideposts. Lisa, good morning. Guideposts. Guideposts 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just generally, and I love the idea of being on a hike with your pals and, being able to open the map and be like, okay, you guys, where are we? Oh, we're heading to, you know, guidepost 1, or like, here we are, look, guidepost 1. Awesome. Let's have lunch. Let's visit, let's move on to the next one. So I really like those. So that's really easy in written form, or for us to talk about. You guys like, well, where are you with your horse? Like, I'm about at guidepost 2.
CB radio back to,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, yep, next you got, you'll come past this rock and you're still on the right path. And
yeah. Exactly.
you're about an hour and a half from where we are. We'll wait for you.
Yeah, love that so much. And Michael, think about how you're saying that. It has no value judgment.
Hmm.
Thing. And I was never going to do it like where I'm anointing people, you've done past it. No, no, no. This is about you guys, and me too, having a map that we can look at and be like, oh, yeah, I see this landmark, and I see, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Here we are, or here I am. And then I love the idea of radio back and forth, and being a part of that. That suits me so much. So easy to do that in written form, or like organizing videos, which we'll certainly do. But like, people are always asking me, like, what class should I be in? At my clinics, or even at other, like, ask me about a Buck Brannaman clinic. You know, like, well, where am I? Where do you think I am? What do you think I should do? And so anyway, in regards to my clinics, and certainly other people are welcome to use this as well, is I think we'll just call it like GP1 groundwork. I think that works. Don't you think that works? I mean, it's pretty simple. I think. So I like
I
that.
like it
So
better.
So this is just basically, I'll just say, I am organizing the horsemanship pursuit pathway that I have used repeatedly, with results that I quite like. That's pretty much it. So, because like what I had immediately written down is, you just need the keys, the map, and good company. That's it. Maybe the hiking analogy would be like, you need good shoes, you need a backpack, you need maybe a flashlight, whatever. Get your friends together, off you go, you know? But this is my point about, like, when you were just persistent about, like, I do not like the word level. What I didn't like about it upon pondering was the value judgment that possibly could go with it. Although I didn't typically have that experience in really even going through the dressage levels. It, like, I don't know, I didn't, that's just not my bent maybe. Michael graduated from Harvard, so he has had more value judgments. along the
Well,
way.
if you just think of all of the, we'll just skip past that. We'll just think of all the different personality types approaching horsemanship, program, outline, levels aside, how just how people approach their horse, how people approach learning at the outset, and how that evolves as they get into um, the philosophy, more information, seeing the horse, and maybe that changes their view quickly. Maybe it changes them slowly. You have the competitive person, you have the not competitive person who could give a shit what anyone else is doing. Um, you have the insecure person that needs that validation, or that boosts their confidence, but it's sort of artificial, right? It's something to hang up and say, I am of value. I'm like, well, does that give you any more value? Right? Like it's got to come from you. It's got to come from the horse. Um,
The
Shut
horse,
up, Lisa. I don't want your opinion.
right?
Um, Lisa said, I've never seen levels as a derogatory. Not derogatory, but I think it can be experienced by many different people, many different ways.
And I would, and here's the other thing, Mike.
And so yeah, that's the thing. I'm not just saying it for myself. Like, I don't like the word levels,
Yeah,
right? It does weird things to me. It's having seen it with hundreds of students and how it's that word, that concept, as outlined, you know, particularly in the programs I've either been a part of or seen other people weigh themselves against, right? So even that, the way I would say that is not particularly fluid. It's
right.
not particularly uh, so much about the horse,
Mm,
um,
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
and can distract. All kinds of different things. So, and I could think of specific examples of people that y- used it in certain ways, or that it brought up a certain thing, a way of progressing. But I don't really I'm not generally thinking of like this person was stuck in this manner, or this person was getting carried away here, but it's just general kind of having found frustration with that s-
Mhm.
structure expressed that way. Um, that's my kind of gut response.
And I trust your gut, and I definitely want to take it into consideration, no question. And also, when I said levels in the beginning, I meant guideposts. Like that
Yeah.
is what I meant. That's what I meant. And I'm
Hmm.
super awards person. Most people are, but like I was a speech champion in high school. I would just throw my like the trophies away. Like I know that's weird. I got a big award at my real estate company last month. They're like, "We're gonna have a thing, we have a plaque," and I was like, "No, thanks." You know? So,
I've never hung my diplomas up.
but there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that has nothing really a part of it. To the same degree that praise, to me, I mean, I really appreciate the encouragement in the sense of like, this has value, keep going. I really appreciate having a few close friends that the camaraderie of that. What I love about horses is that when they approve of you, you don't have to doubt it. It's not colored by whatever their experiences are or their current emotional state. Or I love people too, but I'm just saying that you can count on approval a little bit less from a person. You have to evaluate their sincerity in the moment. Where a horse, that's just it. If they approve of you, that's the truth. you know. So anyway, Lydia had a negative. Oh, Stephanie, good morning. Had a negative reaction when we said dressage test, but for me, test equals challenge. Yeah, exactly. Different perceptions. Lisa's agreeing with you too. Susan, if you're still here this morning, I would be very interested to hear your take on it as well, because she has lived in.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would really, but I just wanted to make it clear that when I was saying levels before, for sure what I meant was a guidepost. No question. Like that for sure was what I was trying to say anyway. So we might as well just say guidepost. The other thing I like about it is a level could sound, not to me, but could sound too finite. Whereas like a guidepost, you could be around guidepost two, you know, somewhere between one or the other, or like, hey, here we are. We're gathering together, like in a class or something like that. It just seems bigger to me than, I'm standing in this really specific podium. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, Julie just said the word levels. The word implies that some are over others, like in upward escalation. And to me, I think of, you could think of a podium, but I think of stairs like, well, I'm on floor one, and now I'm on floor one, and there's no going back to,
Hmm.
step six, right? Because I think that really throws people for the loop. And I'm curious to talk as you develop and scribble this down in the mornings further. Um, is the
Katie.
like how you are thinking, because I think about it a lot, of up leveling skills within a chunk versus the next chunk, or within a level, because that really throws people for a loop when it's like, all right, let's go back to this. I was like, I thought I had that. Why are we still doing that? And it's like, yeah, okay, this isn't going back to the beginning. Like, you have nothing, you've accomplished nothing, and I'm writing off everything you can do. It's This needs to up level.
Like on a switchback, Michael, on a chair.
Yeah, there you go. Right. But if you're at this level, I'm on, floor one. I've taken the elevator, the stairs, it doesn't matter. Now I'm here. You don't go back and hop down to step number three or four so you can get up to floor two. I mean, you just steadily, I don't know. To me, that's the part that just kind of, um, I think can, and even if you're not talking in levels, people can kind of be thrown for that. But I think, like I said yesterday, um, like I spit out as I was running to the next thing. I think a, a language around the whole thing, and you're good at creating a culture, as you've done in the horsemanship challenge, and you know on the show here and on the insider, of this is how we talk about it, not like you have to talk about it this way, but this is the kind of community standard of language. We don't criticize, we don't judge, we don't, whatever the outline is for the challenge. sets the tone for how it's talked about, how you're approaching things. And, even if you went with the word levels, if you talk about it in such a way that makes comfortable or makes familiar, like you will kind of go up and down through this level. And even as you get to the next level, you're going back to level one or whatnot. So I don't know.
We have to read. We have to read Katie's. Just for people that only listen to the audio later. So Katie says, also you can do short serpentines around guideposts back to the beginning if needed. Yes.
Right on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like, and think about it, you guys. If you're in a beautiful place, like a beautiful national park or something like that, I mean, who cares what guidepost you're at? It doesn't freaking matter. I mean, we just at the very least, it's an orientation, and like you said, it should fit together too, so that you're not just randomly not heading up or something. It's like, let's at least have a way to keep going. So Corey says, I like the term guideposts and that you're addressing the idea between moving things more fluid. Again, something that I just assume, that just to me, because I wasn't trying to share it, I could just use the idea of levels however I wanted. Like, obviously, if you're riding a Grand Prix test and your horse can't make a straight line that day, I mean, like, that's training level, that's level one. So, or if you're moving up the pyramid of training, like, it's just obvious to me. But that's not how everyone sees it. And I so appreciate, you know, us shopping this around. My dream is that this would be an adventure, right? You guys, like that it would be not without its struggles, for sure, but still overall a fun adventure that we're choosing to do. you know and maybe your feet are going to get sore, or maybe you're going to get thirsty, or you might wipe out over a root or something like that, but whatever, you'll be fine. Just keep going. Julie says, what else did you say, Julie? Can I go back and look? She said levels, the word implies that some, oh yeah, what else did you say?
Guideposts are just informative.
Affirmative, yeah, Michael. And Julie also says, when we need to go back and revisit a thing that needs review or refinement, I think of it as a trampoline. Ooh, bounce down to sharpen up the hindquarters so I can rebound up. And have a better forequarters. The other thing is that I was thinking of this, very specifically as we're heading up the mountain, um, as a horse human pair, right? Even though a person that's been doing it a long time, has a lot of skills, is going to, or some skills in some areas or whatever, it's not like you're going to be like a level 1 person, but you still might be around guidepost 1 with that particular horse.
I don't ever say level one person again.
Exactly. Yes. Hopefully, everybody that's listening listens for longer. That is absolutely not. Well, that is exactly what we're trying to avoid. Precisely. That's how that, in fact, that just convinces me to nix it. Yes, because that's not the truth.
Yeah.
I was totally like, Michael is having such a meltdown. We have to fix. We can't. I mean, it really got, because I probably would have just moved on and used it. But yeah, that has nothing to do with anything. It really doesn't. Other than, you maybe if you know the territory better and better as you're going up and down the mountain, helping your friends, bringing new horses through, whatever. It's like you might be a lot more oriented and be able to avoid the route you wiped out over the last time, or know you have to have better shoes, or be like, well, I want better company, or who knows, whatever the deal is, you could get more experienced and more skilled going up. And but number one, the mountain is the same. Number two, what if you're super skilled, going up and down the mountain like a Sherpa, but you might be with somebody, a horse, who is, newish. And you might have to work around and with the.
Or if the horse is the elements, some because every horse is different, mountain's the same. Terrain beneath the veneer of snow or veneer of rain and storms, and or a slide in one area with that gets cleared later, but you have to cross the slide with this horse, so that piece of the terrain is more difficult for any given horse. We could just take this analogy so far.
Yay, yay. Or what if somebody comes in to the program and has already, for however they got to guidepost 3 in some areas, let's say, they've been up there for a little bit, or their horse has been up there or something like that. You might still need to head back to guidepost 1 to get a few things, or to collect more information, or pick certain flowers or whatever you want to say. And then you might still need to go through guidepost 2 because you've never been there before, but when you arrive.
Okay, here. This is gonna be good. You're at guidepost 3, you're lost as can be, can't figure out where the path is to get to you lost the trail, you're trying to get up this mountain, you're trying to find guidepost 4, you got to trek back down through where you've been, look for someone who has a map or like can go with you to get through that area, and maybe it is like you didn't have enough water, so you got to guidepost 3, you're like, I'm gonna die before I get to guidepost 4 unless I get back down, or whatever, your gear is not sufficient. Yeah.
Yay, I love it so much. Oh my gosh, this is the best. So, Corey, did you read that one? Michael, you've definitely moved out of level 1 with your analogy skills.
Oh, thanks. Well, here's the thing, Corey. I didn't necessarily have a better word. I was just like, can't say levels, I don't like it.
Well, actually, I think what you said was it makes me want to throw up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Well, and that's what I said a second ago. Don't ever say that again. A
Yeah, and
level 1 person. I mean, what the hell? Which I know is not what you meant, but that's exactly the thing.
that's what
That's
I.
what makes one want to throw up.
Yep, yep, yep. I get it, and that's why you guys are so valuable to me as this idea. Oh my god, it's so crazy, Michael, because it's like all of a sudden the mist is clearing. It's amazing. How, and then I can see the territory super clearly, and I just have to work on the map. Like, it's incredible how obvious it's becoming. But the thing is, you, like you said, when I say it, I mean one thing, but that's not how another person is going to take it. And there's a limit to how much you can worry about that. But um, the whole point of communicating it is so that somebody else can understand it. So it's super
And
valuable.
and it's about creating a language that isn't just some forced or artificial thing, but evokes the a way of thinking about it that fits the philosophy and the community element between you and the horse. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. And that's why, until I had written out the framework that way, of the philosophy, the core principles, the qualities, the curriculum, the timeline, even understanding the harvest and or the ripening and the harvest. Because, like, for instance, realizing that essentially anything beyond, with one or two exceptions, anything really beyond guidepost 3 is just a ripening, for the most part, a ripening, a harvest. Like, you know what I mean? It's like those elements that are very important. Who's coming in?
Sadie just got back from the vet, and so had to come in and enthusiastically say hello, and she almost knocked over the
Dog.
camera. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's good now.
here shaking the collar. So, just my point being, until I laid out the framework, there was no way. That was like a giant boulder that was in the way, and I could not proceed to organize this so I can share it, or so that we can even talk about it in this. I couldn't. Like, it had to be moved out of the way.
Well, wait,
But
what was the boulder?
the framework,
Oh, no.
hits
But what part? Not the technical framework. The
the framework for the pursuit of horsemanship that I wrote, that has the philosophy, the core,
has the yeah.
yeah, principles, the timeline, the qualities. Um, I'm also probably going to add knowledge keys and skills, I think, in there as as the overall framework. And then you have the ripening and the harvest. And so that is what was the boulder. Until that could be articulated, until I could articulate that and put it in a place where I could reference it and share it, and, like, look, this is the framework. This, or we could change the name. I don't care, but I think that that is correct. And then the program is the process, the pathway, but you're always gonna, in other words, that's the mountain, you know so it could not, I could not move past it. Like, that boulder had to be shifted out of the way, period. Like, so it's sort of interesting. That's an interesting effect to me. And the boulder isn't coming back. It's like gone. It is to the side. The monkey on my back of, like, because for me, unless you're moving up the path, um, or along the path, we could say, w- with that framework as your guide, like, we could maybe that type of map or whatever is, I don't care. It means nothing to me. And it has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So, like, if somebody's not using that framework, it's totally fine. I could maybe even admire what they're doing, but it's just not the same at all, you know? So,
Well, it's hard to have clear um, dialogue around it. You're always like, well, my map says this, and my map says this, and or whatever, my gear list is this, and mine is this, and like, okay, but this one I've hiked before, or so and so has got to the top or got to whatever this lookout that doesn't look like your map even takes you through. So I'm over here because from what I've heard from them, like, this is freaking awesome. And this spur over here, whatever, that's not even on your map, and won't necessarily even get you to this lookout. Um, so then you have to, like, get on the same page somewhere to head toward us the same end, or even talk about your
talk
same
about
trail.
it. Yeah, talk about it, share the experience. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's give a practical horsemanship example. Let's just say somebody is going sideways across the arena or something like that, but they don't have any of the qualities that matter to me. It's like, I mean, we don't have to judge.
Hmm.
What is better? I just require certain parts of the experience to count as what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So yeah. Corey says it's a great point about the word levels. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, Michael was right. Michael was right. How fun is it to have it shaped? Because look at how our brains are exploding as we start to hit upon an analogy and a way of talking about it that resonates with us. So it becomes so easy. And another thing that I have realized is one of my goals with organizing the horsemanship pursuit pathway this way with guideposts and a framework for doing it is to help people relax, enjoy it, have fun. Isn't this fun? Don't we want to do this together? Versus this low grade or high grade stress about, like, "Oh, I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, I'm so worried about this. I might just randomly fall over a cliff. So that is certainly part of my.
Word you used the other day was disorientation,
Yep.
or
Yeah.
confusion. I think is
And the
often,
yep. And
or
the
overwhelm.
that one can happen a lot, I think, when you get the entire curriculum dumped on, you, so
Mhm.
to speak, or you get to see it, like, in other words, the mountain you see for the first time, including the quality, you see whatever, whoever example, and you're like, oh, if there's the mountain, that's where I want to go.
But if that overwhelm persists and um, you can't parse out the next steps along the path over against like this whole big overwhelming like vision, or all of the, you know well, watch out for this and watch out for that, and skirt around this lake, and there's gonna be this little, it's like, I'm not even there yet. Like, cool, glad to know, but like, get me from here to there first. So I don't know. That's where it gets technical and tricky again, and you're gonna have to ignore or come along with me as I fight with that part of it too.
Yeah, but the technical part's quite easy for me. Just because,
Yes.
well, I guess what I'm saying is it's way easier. Aussie Petroleum. Are you a bot? Are you real? It looks like you have a profile picture. Are you asking what the show is about or what our topic is about today? Maybe clarify that. Yeah, let's read Eva's comment. But one second, Eva. So, here's the thing, Michael, because I've been chipping away at the curriculum for so long and organizing it and have been through this with several horses in this style. Those parts are way easier to describe and to put at certain guideposts than it was coming up with the whole idea of chunking things in this way.
Yeah. It's not so much that as the piece I'm going to push back. And when I said it the other day, you're like, yeah, I completely agree. Is the the sense of you're not ready for this yet, right? Which is true, but is also like,
Yeah, that's
or
not.
the withholding the this part of the map,
That's
right?
annoying. Yeah.
Or kind of lording over this part of the map because you have to get this, you have to get to guidepost 1 before we can even describe lookout
Mm.
17, right?
Nope. Boo to that. We are
Yeah.
not doing that. Aussie Petroleum, if you wanted to share your first name, that would be amazing since we all get to know each other. I will explain it in just 1 second here. But we don't want to lose our thought. Yes, Michael. Holy shit. Yes.
Aussie
Yes.
Petroleum, we do occasionally swear on the show. Holy shit.
Gaia. Okay. Hi. Welcome. Yeah. So let's just explain it now that I'm thinking of it. So this show is called the Horsemanship Remark Show. This is my friend Michael Sparling. I'm Emma Daily Kline. And Michael and I have been horse friends for like, I don't know, 16 or 17 years or some insane amount of time. We used to talk on the phone all the time before Michael had children, and our lives got busy. So when we were riding our horses and training horses, we would be on the phone together. And it basically, several years ago, almost 5 years ago, I guess, or something like 4 years ago, we decided to start this show so that he and I would have a set time every week to have, an hour or so, ends up being about 90 minutes, to visit with each other. And because we have so many horse friends, we're like, well, let's do it, on a platform. We started on Instagram. We moved to Facebook because Instagram technology sucked and was glitching out on us. And then we just a few weeks ago moved here to YouTube because Facebook's technology was sucking. So you can listen to past shows. At Emma Daily Kline podcast on Spotify and all that. We've had some fun guests. We've had Buck Branham a bunch of times. We've had Gary Bailey. But for the most part, it's Michael and I and you guys, our friends, who you'll get to know if you read through the chat and jump through every day. So today's topic is we are using, I am designing for Horsemanship Insider, which is a membership platform where I produce videos and help teach people, but also for clinics. Michael teaches clinics, and so do I. So just organizing the curriculum that we use with the philosophical and principled way of moving through that curriculum with our horses. In other words, developing our own skills and our horses' skills, in a way that is chunked so that you can realize or orient yourself on along the mountain, so that we're talking about whether we should refer to these as levels, which we don't want to do for several different reasons. You can listen to the show to figure that out. So, how should we refer to these chunks in a way that is primarily about orienting people, giving people a map, being able to talk to each other about the map and the hike,
The
so
process.
yeah, the process, so that it's fun and we are successful along the way. And so ask any.
Uh, That's I think the word process and levels don't work together very well. I
Mhm.
think that's the other reaction I have to levels. I mean, it's not that you can't make them work together, but
That's why this is really, it really is a pathway, an organized pathway with guideposts along the way. So we have a way to orient ourselves in the process. Uh, Josiah says, I love horses. My partner used to do show jumping, when she was a kid, but we live in a unit, so no space for horses, but maybe we just get one day. That would be nice. Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, that's all we do here. Mostly is talk about horses. Yep.
so
So,
Eva said something a bit back.
yeah,
Can I
Eva said,
scroll back? Yeah, there we go. I can scroll back through the comments. This is good on YouTube.
Michael never used to be able to see the comments. The
Yeah,
cam
it's great.
the canvas needs to be seen in order to be painted on. Yeah, the framework shows that there is a canvas, and how to begin your painting. Eva, each guidepost is like a layer that adds more depth to the painting.
So Corey, Eva is like level 6 analogy person, or at least visual expression person.
You're gonna confuse people. This is a joke, you guys, an inside joke about analogy levels. If you've never heard this show before, um,
Emma has great analogies that she just comes up with on the fly, and I'm always impressed by them. In my analogies, I'll like start on and we'll go like, "This is falling apart. This analogy sucks." But I had a really good one a bit ago. So Corey was commenting on my improvement in my analogy creation.
yeah, we have a lot of inside jokes in our
Yeah,
community. Um, you'll learn them if you hang out with us long enough. But
we
yeah,
have 17 years of
sure,
inside jokes and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, exactly. Well, so what are your guys' other thoughts on this? We don't have to stay on it too long, but I'm super, super excited about it. What were you saying about it all fitting together? Oh, not holding people back, not
Yeah.
restricting, and oh my gosh, that makes me want to shake somebody and just throw plates around because that sucks. That sucks. That would be like, okay, if you go into the Oxford Library, I'm not saying you can read everything in there or understand it, but you're not going to be not allowed to look at it or check something out. I guess they do that at some point. But you know what I'm saying? It's
Well,
like
they do that for like rare books and whatnot, but you still, I think, for the most part, can access.
you don't
Like,
go
are
to
there libraries where it's like you can't access this? I mean, outside of like government documents that,
should be
whatever.
classified. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is not what it's about. And when we say, like, let's say, how would we describe this? If because there is a way to look at the map on the mountain of the mountain and be like, okay, yeah, there, you know, you are gonna the pathway does go a certain way, but think about this, you could go hypothetically a totally different way and you'd still be going up the mountain, maybe. I mean, whatever. But you could say, look, this leads to this one, and if you take a right here, and if you go on this switchback, and if or you could be like, someone could come and be like, where am I? I don't know where I am on this map. I see the map. Where am I? Can you tell me where I am? Or they could be radioing down. Hey, here's what or up. Here's what I see. This is the foliage, this is the rocks, this is, I see this lake or whatever. Could be like, here's what I see, can you tell me where I am? And let's just say in a clinic this happens, I'm doing this with my horse, these are the problems we're running into, or I really want to be able to do this next thing. And then I as the coach, or you as the coach, could be like, yeah, okay, well, here's what you got going on, so here's where you are in between, let's say guideposts 2 and 3, these are the things around there. You might need to get something more close to guidepost 2, or you know put some pieces to do you know what I'm saying? Put some pieces together. You could even maybe cross a switchback or something, but it does all line up. The other thing, Michael, is if someone is super Sherpa like, and athletic and like can run up the mountain, maybe this is one thing that applies as to how long it's going to take from guidepost 1 to 3 is like, how long do you have to be hiking every day, every week, I don't know. And it's different for people in different.
Takes me forever to get through a book because I read about 5 minutes a day before lights go out. I could read a lot faster if I had more, or, I could read a lot more material if I had more hours in the day for reading.
Yeah,
I'm capable of reading a lot. Just the time constraints have me reading
But nobody's going to
what
give
I'm
you
reading.
a page at a time of the
Yeah,
that's, or maybe they would, but that's dumb. I don't want to do that. Corey says analogy level 6 for you, Michael. She is anointing you. You probably
no,
need.
for Eva.
Oh, for Eva. Yeah. Truly advanced horsemen don't, Julie says, truly advanced horsemen don't fight going back to shape something up. They just do it without any internal brace or waiting about it.
Wailing.
Wailing about it. I know. Julie says, "You, Michael, you would not spend your extra time reading." Yeah,
True.
that's funny. Especially that's makes perfect sense. I love that because it's like if you have free time in your life other than earning a living or taking care of your responsibilities, maybe you want to do other things. Maybe you want to go on vacation. Maybe you want to spend time with your family that you never get to see. Maybe what take a long nap. No one should be judging you for how much time you put in with your horses. That's your decision. And we can still all be hiking together, especially if we have radios. Then if someone is taking a little bit longer, we can still talk back and forth. And like for instance, if the other thing, I just keep wanting to emphasize this part because it's part of my overall idea, is like if one of you guys is at guidepost 3ish, 3 or 4, and I've had to go back to guidepost 1 because I got a new horse, or I'm helping a troubled horse or whatever. That's not a value judgment either, but I might be, shh, Michael, we're making progress, like it's not, it is. And what's so funny to me as I'm having to articulate this, I keep wanting to be like, duh, of course it's not. It's so retarded to think about it like that. Like, but that's not an appropriate way to discuss it because there are times when people have, been trained that that's a thing too. But to me, it's obvious that it doesn't matter where on the mountain we are, so long as we're on the same radio frequency.
So there's Susan's 10 cents. Yes, no holding back or controlling what you're ready to learn.
That's your decision. That's the thing. No,
And okay, go.
well, if you're reading a map, if you're looking at your map, how annoying would it be if someone was lording over your shoulder? You just want to stab them in the eye. But you might want to hold your map out and be like, "Can you tell me? I'm looking," but you're the one holding the map. You're the one that's going to move your own feet. So it's not about someone having the map and being like, do this, do that, You
Well, and
have.
then the another piece is if someone has more time or if someone is more physically fit or prepared to make this journey, hasn't, maybe we're rock climbing and they have more natural bent to putting their body in the right position and staying balanced against the wall. Well, if you're going, well, you gotta get to here before I can give you any more information, it's like I'm ready to just go rocketing up this thing because I have got all kinds of time. I just discovered this, or I've been trying all the way along and have not had a map. So give it to me all, and I am going to, with my aptitude, just whatever, like the way I perceive the whole thing is maybe in line with the principles and all that very naturally. Like we don't have to spend time really
Getting convinced.
getting convinced or like having that become a part of everything, right? It just is. Like it's going to go a lot quicker. And so if it's too much like, well, this and then this, and once you have that, then we'll talk about this. Like if you understand how the whole thing fits together, that affects your understanding of what you're trying to do now, even though it might just be words that you're stretching to understand. You're at least looking for, and to me, I don't know, that's huge to me, always has been. Like putting into words what you're looking for so you know what to look and feel for.
Mm, exactly. Yeah. Or like it looks to me like you're kind of around guidepost two. Here's what you're gonna probably be seeing next.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or I think you're around guidepost two. Do you have that uh sandwich from your way up? The way station. Like, if not, you might need to go back and get it before you head. You know. The other thing that I guess I should make clear, Michael, that I haven't even said to you is this is not a requirement of hanging out with us. And so long as you're operating in the framework, you know, then whether or not you're interested, want to use the way that I've chunked out this pursuit pathway and have written out the map, um that is not a requirement of hanging out. Like I can represent that this works. Just I mean, I've done it, I've used it. This works definitely. This map will get you there. um but it's not a requirement of being part of the gang, would you say? Not if you want to wander around, or use your internal compass, or I mean, whatever. Or somebody told you and you've memorized all the landmarks, up the way. But to me, I'm not saying that this is the way you have to do it. You have to operate within the framework in order for us to be kind of on the same page.
Or depends on what part of what all you're including in framework, because philosophy I think is the big one where it's like it's hard to kind of really be on the same page without that component. Other parts are optional for really starting to jive and appreciating the conversation and company and whatever. It's not like you have to be on the same using the exact same map to to have that camaraderie. But
Yes.
if the philosophy or principles are just way different, like still hang out, but like it's going to be a little harder time for us to find
In the camaraderie.
be on the same page. And realistically, unless someone's looking for something different, if they're just cool with what they got and their principles are completely different, then well, like we're probably not going to want to hang out that much. And I think that's what Katie, Wendy, and Morgan run into. Like this is really hard because we are just not even thinking about things the same way at all.
Not on the
And
same.
I was helping someone yesterday who's leasing a horse, and loading has been a thing, and this horse is very skeptical and untrusting, and the gal is pretty new and has not brought a horse along, and like she's kind of in a situation where this is pretty difficult because she doesn't have the technical skill, even though she's got a decent, you know, path and order of things that we're trying to develop the skill in. But it takes takes getting things together here a little bit. Meanwhile, doing it with a horse that needs a ton of support and needs a ton of consistency for it to start to come together. Any case, she's leasing the horse, working on loading. It's taking a little longer. She's probably not being quite assertive and oh, Emma, you better come back. Um, not having quite the right feel in her assertiveness. There, you're back. Um,
1 second, the dog has to go out. Keep talking.
at that particular moment. So, any case, the owner's like comes marching over. You get that horse in the trailer, and it shouldn't. You're just teaching him to avoid the trailer. As she's kind of sending the horse in and allowing him to come out, or asking him to come out, and kind of feeling it out as she's working on getting good at this. And owner comes up and just chouses the horse in the trailer pretty aggressively. He jumps into the trailer all wide eyed and panicked, and then comes rocketing back out. And then she chases him back in there again. And like, just the gal I was helping was just totally devastated. It's like, I've been working so hard for this horse to trust me, and it's working. Like, he's trusting me. We're getting somewhere, albeit slowly. And trailer loading was going so good, and now you just really screwed the deal. And so to even try to explain that to this gal that just came up and was like, "You get him in the trailer," and da 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 da.
It's
Kind
certainly
of just not even on the same page, and it's gonna be like, you know, not get you very far outside of just get an argument too, or get someone shouting down your throat about how you're doing it wrong. I was like, and she doesn't have anything to show for herself that this woman is going to value, right? Like, she's just getting started. The woman doesn't care whether the horse is relaxed if it's not doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And then she was having a hard time going, well, I feel like I used to be able to do that. This is hard because I didn't see what it was before, but I can imagine. She's like, well, it is hard because now I feel like we can't do anything, whereas before we did this, and yeah, it was kind of dangerous. Like, I could tell he wasn't. It's like two things. One, how shut down was your horse? Like, I will stay between reins and legs and spurs. Not that she was necessarily wearing spurs, but like, I know where I have to be because I will be like aggressively put back there to the point where I'm not even seeing anything else because I'm just a comatose, like, survival mode within this space I've been confined. So how much was that happening? And then also, how much was the horse just ready to explode? And you knew he wasn't cool, but like, you didn't really realize how not cool he was and how dangerous it was. And then you get the horse into a scenario where now the horse is being seen. You're going, let me help you learn this. I'm not going to just force you into it. And the horse has all this room to, especially as you're not great at setting boundaries that are not confining. This horse has all this room to explore and sort things out, and um, be wrong and come up against some edges and then find where to be. That can feel a little bit like, well, now the horse is like not in the rectangle, or at least before he was kind of in the rectangle. It's like, well, but how was he in the rectangle? How did he feel about the rectangle? How safe were you actually with him in that rectangle, or the rectangle that way? And so where she could be discouraged is like, but this is coming together, right? Slowly, but it is. And yet, what a setback when the owner comes in and high and mighty is like, get in the trailer. This horse knows how to get in the trailer, and you're ruining the horse. So I told her, you need to decide if this is, she's weighing whether or not she's going to buy this horse and whether it's the right fit for her. I said, you gotta, I'm not going to rush the decision, but you got to decide one way or the other, because not only is it not fair to the horse, which, you could say, well, it's not fair to the horse to go to this gal that owns it and rescue the horse and whatever. It's also not fair to you. Like you're trying to learn this, and then you're getting these setbacks because of how this horse is handled at this barn day to day, and how this woman steps in when you're trying to progress. And now all the hard work you're putting in is being influenced because now you've got to like go back and reassure the horse that, and you spend all that time reassuring the horse that what you said before is actually true with you, even though it's not true with everyone. And you know, so any case, it's complicated scenario. And some people, I told her at the very end, some people in my position would just tell you this is what you should do. And I could, but it's not necessarily my style. I'm giving you all the information I can and all of the factors to weigh, but it's your decision to make. And I'm not going to just announce this is what you got to do. So
There's
whatever.
no way to make an accurate proclamation.
That's part of the other thing too. Uh, it's dicey enough to try to give somebody like you should do this without even knowing all the factors. Like I don't
Mhm.
It's going to be
luck if you get the exact right thing. And that whole deal of like if a person can arrive at a decision themselves, then they get to own it and tweak on it and change it and adjust it and be right with it. That's the idea.
It's it's interesting though. Like I'm just thinking this, having just said that, and hearing you just say that, or having just said what I said, and then hearing you just say that. Like maybe there is value in, like, do some people just need the last little push of this is what you should do?
yeah,
Like, does
but
that help them make the, I don't know. Like if you're really that torn, and I'm still going like weigh all the options, like
yeah,
what
but
are your priorities? How much time do you have? Like is this what you really want to do, and are you going to be disappointed if that, the factor of this horse is a lot sketchier, and then like all horses are dangerous, but there's a much higher risk of you getting hurt with your level of skill, and especially if you get impatient and are like I want to do this, and um all of that. But does it help her to just go, I really think this, I
but
recommend this. I don't know.
yeah, you could say that. You could say, given all the things you've told me,
Me or all the things I've observed, I recommend X. Or you could say, if it were me,
Yeah.
this.
what I would do.
Hmm.
But I don't know,
Oh, you should do this. I don't know about that.
Katie. You should stick with she should stick with you,
Michael. That's her answer for that. I would agree. That would be my recommendation as well. Or we could also say, Katie, right? Like if it were me, or this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Katie.
and Corey. Corey.
Some people wear different tack, treat horses with respect, read body language well, and firm up and ease when needed. However, they may not really understand or choose to see the importance of some of our foundational things, such as groundwork, even. Hmm. For sure. And we don't have to convince them. Whatever. And like that's what I was trying to say anyway, is like, that doesn't, if someone is in that situation, Corey, that doesn't necessarily nix them from hanging out.
Um, and it's interesting that, like you say, we don't. That's that's fine. It's working for them. There may be a horse at some point where they go, maybe something else would help because the system I have used up to this point with however many horses I need something additional with this horse. It's not coming together like it has with my other horses.
Yeah.
It would be so nice. I don't know if this is possible or not, but it would be so nice to get that across a little bit more. You and I have been in a situation where we've been with friends, and they've decided to take a different path, but we thought we were all under the same overall umbrella and on the same mountain. So why would it matter? Like, we can still be friends. We could even be like, talk about our different pathways. Like, here's the lookout over here. This is what, I think it's easier. I think it's harder. I think it's more fun. I feel like we should be able to talk about all that and enjoy each other's journey.
Well, I
Do
as you
it
get further along, um, as you move further along, your ripening and your final product, or the what you want to do with your horse, might look vastly different in terms of how you want the horse to shape themselves, or the movements that you're going to emphasize or add or shape in a certain direction. Um, that doesn't mean you can't still have a conversation with someone else who is, has the same philosophy, or the same, you know,
loves horses.
loves horses, and has a groundwork laid that is going to let them go to their direction with their horse, and you go your direction with your horse. Like, I don't know. It is fun working with um folks from different disciplines that kind of get excited about um getting through some challenges with some different principles, with some different information that they're not familiar with, and being able to say, like, yeah, this is going to work for you to do what you want to do. Like, you don't need to change to doing what I'm doing in terms of goals of, I want to go eventing versus I want to, you know, have my horse be a bridle horse in this definition of, wearing all this gear and, roping, or whatever your idea of bridle horse is. If your goal is this, like, let's get all this same groundwork laid, foundation laid for
Well, you're not going to be
doing
able.
it.
Yeah,
And
because
it's just fun to have friends that are, like, I want to apply it in this way, and I want to apply it in this way, and this is really helping me to get this accomplished with my horse, or help my horse in this way. And, you know,
or different breeds. Like, what if you're
yeah.
only to have you only want dressage horses, or you.
And then how fun is it to to talk about someone who only has, typey Arabians or little.
Mhm.
It blows my mind.
That not everybody feels that way. So, Juno, do we know you? What's your first name? Maybe not, because this is a question. So this is a great question, though. Do you believe a horse can understand different cues for the same task across different disciplines and seats? How would you go about this? For example, teaching a Western horse that knows an outside leg aid, for instance, for a lope, outside leg back, right leg back, let's say canter left. Then working with a hunter trainer who wants them to canter off with their inside leg, so left leg forward, canter left. Um, this is my simple answer. Michael can answer as well, although I think his answer is the same. Horses can easily understand two different aids for the same thing. Like, that's no problem. You could have two different aids that mean the same thing. Um, but having one aid mean multiple things is really sucky for the horse, because then they're just trying to randomly guess. You also could have different combinations of aids mean the same thing. For instance, if I pick my nose and tap my head, that's canter left. Or if I cross my arms, that's canter left. Horses are fun. They don't care. They'll learn as many aids as you want for one thing. But if sometimes you pick your nose and tap your head, and it should mean canter left. And sometimes you pick your nose and tap your head, and it should mean canter right. If that's really hard on the horse, because unless I guess you just want the horse guessing, they have a lot of that's not. I don't think they like that very much. So anyway, that's my answer. You can have as many cues as you want for one thing, but you can't have one cue mean two or 10 things. So I hope that answers that. Would you have anything else to
No, 100% that. I think I've also been asked, and maybe this would be something Juno is thinking um, behind that question, or maybe not, but adding to the words that she used there, um, can horses contextualize in this context? That means this. In that context, that same cue means something different. To which I have responded, probably. I think the horse is smart enough to figure that out if you're consistent. But is it necessary? Can you communicate to the horse through different disciplines and you movements and goals with a consistent system of aids and accomplish the same thing? Maybe not when one trainer is having one system of aids and another trainer has another system of aids, and you've decided to be a student of both, and now you're in the lesson and they're saying this and then this other person's saying that. Well, now you're kind of stuck, you know, having the horse contextualize that in this case that leg means this and in that case that leg means that. I'm not sure how much the horse knows. There's a Western saddle on me now versus there's an English saddle on me now. So now I can contextualize that aid differently. I think it has to be a little bit more. I mean, it would have to be. I'm not suggesting this, but people who have asked the question with that component of could the horse contextualize it and figure it out? Probably. But is
So
it
there's enough.
necessary? If
Hmm.
there's enough additional context information, like here now we're working cows and you're on a loose rein and all only neck reining and long rectangle, and so now this leg means that, but now we're riding you know in a dressage arena and gathered up, and so now that leg means something entirely different. They could probably figure that out, but could
With
you also not
eats with
what's
enough.
that? With enough repeats, yeah, and consistency,
That's right.
and like yeah, enough repeats in both contexts.
Hmm.
But is it not possible for one to communicate both things, both disciplines, both goals, both whatever with can you yourself, even if your trainer is in those different disciplines would suggest one way, can you say, well, this is my system of aids, tell me what you want the horse to do,
That's right.
and I have a system of aids that works for us, and I'm going to apply that and do this with my horse and do that with my horse, but the system of aids is similar or it's the same.
Mhm. For sure. And we've probably both had the experience.
I've certainly had the experience of helping friends, that live far away from me. And showing up there once a year, and the horse has memorized me. So, and they don't forget. Like if I have we are very organized and consistent for, a day even, but 2 days or something like that. And then my buddy, let's say, rides that horse for the next year the way they ride the horse. Then I go back a year later, the horse can dial right into me. I've had that experience multiple times, very interesting. Or another kind of sort of example along this line is that Michael is very tall and I am very short. And so let's say I get on his horse and that I've never ridden before, maybe then the horse has to I give we give a little grace and let the horse I let the horse dial into me, but I'm very consistent. I know exactly what I'm doing, and Michael and I have this we do have the same system of aids. But the horse still feels my legs totally different than his, and um we all are going to have different muscle structure or whatever, but the horse will figure it out. In fact, in very short order. And so long as I have a good attitude and just like, oh, hey, here, let me show you this couple times the way it's going to feel, coming from me. A great example of this is when a person, or I'll ride somebody else's horse or trying out a horse to buy or something like that and being like, so what's your canter aid? With that Cremello that I rode this March at the Buck Clinic, this guy was so nice to let me borrow because I was just admiring his horse so much. So when I got on him, because he's been riding with Buck for many years, and the was very broken, very well trained, and very happy and content. And so a lot of things I got on and I could just do with the horse in like 1 second. But then when it came to lope around, it just kind of didn't work the first time or two. So I was like, hey, you know, what what's your canter aid? And he told me, and so then I did it like him, and voila, there we go. But back to riding Michael's horses, those horses memorize me very quickly and will remember me over multiple years, even if I ride them just a couple days or 15-20 minutes. I can get on them a year later, and a lot of times they'll remember me and contextualize that whole thing. So, Juno says that was very helpful. Oh, good, good. Anything else on that, Michael? I
Well,
mean, it's
contextualize, but in that case, contextualize somewhat, but more so even just go, oh, yeah, this feels a little different, but it's that means this. And it's kind of like Juno was saying, two different things or two different feelings can mean the same thing.
hmm Even I've had horses. This is just an additional little drop of
anecdote to add. I've had horses like dressage horses that I've ridden that other people use. They're outside leg back, inside leg forward at walk and trot to make an arc. And I do it the other way, outside leg forward, inside leg back. And it's not very dramatic, but that it is a completely different way of sitting, and a horse will figure it out. But there's see, it's still combinations of aids because there's still, and I'm not going to magically grow, sadly, 18 inches on my leg.
Mm-hmm.
no matter how much I would want to, it is what it is.
So, um, since I'm a grown up, so that is consistent though. That is a consistent combination on top of whatever system of aids.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be
Yeah.
maybe it would be more upsetting if we were riding the horse.
On the same day, day after day, or you were riding it 2 days a week and trying to train it, and I was riding it 2 days a week and trying to train it. I don't have that experience, and I probably wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do that.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. That would be harder for a horse to parse through, which is exactly what you were asking or what they were asking. In addition, a lot of times when I'm riding a horse for someone, and they are not familiar with or haven't practiced or don't know my system of aids and what the horse is learning, and you try in the course of the time that the horse is there to show them, but realistically, time only allows them to be there maybe a handful of times to ride the horse, to do some groundwork, and so they go home, and probably a good deal of the time, unless they're gonna really commit to learning this process, the system of aids, they go to doing their system of aids. And depending on the horse, the degree to which it was clean coming in or had baggage and concern and preconceived ideas coming in, the time I've had the horse, the degree to which the horse has started asking questions and believing there's an answer to understand. Um, for the most part, you hand the lead rope to the person and say, "This horse will figure you out if you're kind to it and are consistent in whatever you do, as long as it makes sense," right? Um, and most of the time, that just kind of works out, right? Sometimes, when the horse is more troubled, they can go, "Well, this feels exactly like it felt before," and for all the time we had me trying to help you present things differently, it's not something you've really gotten good at, become clear with, and so it unravels a little bit easier. Um, and similar to the horse getting choused into the trailer, the horse might come back here and I start working with the horse, and there's that confusion again, but can slot back into, okay, this is understandable. This makes sense. Um, and then it requires, you know, a little bit more of the person getting on the same page to what is making sense to the horse, or getting more consistent in something that makes sense to the horse for it to come together. But um, for
That
whatever it's worth, I think in most cases, I'm like, yeah, sometimes it's like, I hope this goes well because your system of aids is like pretty different, maybe sort of crude, not to be judgmental. I'm pretty sure this horse is going to get along, but good luck, horsey, a little bit. Other times it's like your system of aids is a little different than mine, maybe quite a bit different than mine, but you are a skilled rider, like whoever said before. I think it was Corey. You're a very skilled rider, have good feel. Your system of aids are different. No problem. It'll take a little bit of you guys getting on the same page, but I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to work out. Principle is kind of the same. The horse knows to look for answers. The horse is calm and confident and thinking.
likes their person, that goes
Yeah,
a
yeah.
long way.
So,
A long way. How many times have I've said it and
When I'm teaching a million times, or even just encouraging someone, like you guys are good. You guys are friends. You're going to be fine. Don't worry. Just don't lose that. And usually a person isn't going to lose that no matter what, if they are really friends with their horse at that,
mhm,
like that's, oh man, that just makes everything so much easier. Mhm. We're over, Michael Sparling.
typical.
Not too bad. 10 minutes over.
There's a little counter at the top.
I know that's helpful too.
That's amazing. All these cool things.
Well, but anything else? Anything else, you guys, that we want to think about? So I'm very excited to sum up. I'm super excited about organizing this horsemanship pursuit pathway for you guys. It's going to be 100 degrees tomorrow in the
Oh
next
my
day,
goodness.
So guess who's going to be inside?
with time to get everything laid out. So I'm really excited to make some super headway on that. And not we like being on YouTube. This is awesome. So
Agreed.
Yes, and as you guys can imagine,
of course, subscribing is cool because then you get something out of it, notifications and whatever else. Liking the show with the like button is very helpful to us, even if you don't want to subscribe. And you can check out Horsemanship Insider at horsemanshipinsider.com. Michael Sparling, horsemanship.com for Michael. For the Horsemanship Challenge information, the throwdown is coming up, oh my gosh, in 1 month. How crazy is that? And then, of course, I'm planning for the 2026 Northwood Farms 12-week horsemanship challenge. So you can see more information about that at northwoodfarms.com. I believe I have all the links here in the description. I'll have to go back and you guys can tell me if those work or if I need to make some adjustments to that. Yeah, I have new limited edition flags, Michael, that I'm really excited about with new colors. Hopefully, I'm going to have those pretty soon. So I'll show you guys a couple of those on the show. I want to save some for the clinic here so we can have a merch table. But I'll show you guys. Those of you guys that watch the show should get advanced. I love them. I'll have to send you one too. I know you have lots. Speaking of Jeannie, tell her I miss her because I loved
I
her.
haven't seen her a bunch lately.
yeah, but she could join the show. That would be cool.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm no
Maybe I have to
Send-
let
yeah.
her know we're on YouTube now.
hmm
I
So
don't know you put your posts, but
yeah, yeah.
anyway, I'm noticing her absence is the only thing. So that should be it for this week. Also, I should mention Michael and I are here every Thursday morning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
8:30 Central.
all right, you guys. So maybe we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good week.
Let me make sure I can